Hey y'all, welcome back to the Maya Skinner Show. I'm so excited for today's episode. We're going to be talking about schooling and the different forms of it. It's a really cool topic, as well as what can you do outside of this with all of the layoffs in Loom right now. And so I have a special guest this morning. His name is Mark Lipscomb. Let's give him a warm welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, Maya.
Good morning, Mark. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
No, no problem. No worries. I
Yeah,
appreciate
you
you having me on your show.
for sure. So, you're a close family friend of ours, and you have some background in something that I want to get into and expand on that. For a little bit more of background for those who are watching, you've probably seen on the news these days lots of layoffs going on from retail to corporate offices to just all kinds of careers and jobs. And something that I've been noticing that's been a conversation lately is trade school an option? Should people think of that as, a secondary way of living? Some people have probably had their sights on staying in a corporate office, doing whatever they're doing, maybe staying in news or staying in retail, whatever. But there's a lot of conversations about thinking about other kinds of jobs like welding, of course, which is why you're here, IT, cosmetology school, really honing into, mechanics and things like that. And so I wanted to talk with you. You have a business, you have a lot of experience in welding and building and making things. And so first, I just want you to give a little bit of experience into like how you got into it and talk a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, I'm originally from the Hampton Roads in Virginia. Um, and if you're not familiar with Virginia, we have a lot of, especially the Hampton Roads, a lot of military bases down there, military establishment. After high school, once I graduated, I went to basic training. And I was in National Guards, Army National Guards. I went to basic training in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And once I came back home, I had to get a job. And my mom told me, "Oh, you got to go to work." So I applied at the local shipyard, which at that time was called Newport News Shipyard. Um, I got I was hired on as a welder. I didn't At that time I didn't know what a welder was, but I accepted this job because I had to make some money. I was there for 6 years. They trained me. They actually have their own welding school there. It's because they train you how they want you to be trained how they weld there at their yard. I was there for 6 years, and then I got into traveling as a welder, and I never looked back. From that point on, I traveled to a lot of different states in the United States, and I've been welding for about 33 years.
Can you just talk a little bit about some of the projects you've done when you moved here to the Dallas area? I know you've worked on a couple of big projects that people will probably know that you've worked on. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So one of the biggest projects that I worked on here in Dallas is downtown Dallas, the two white arches off I-30. I was out there for like 2 years. I did a lot of welding out there. That was a great job, great project. Then once I finished that project, I went to Arlington. What is the name? Right there by the new Texas Ranger Stadium. We started there, live Texas Live. Sorry, Texas Live. So I stayed out there for like 4 or 5 months before I went to another project in Houston, Texas. Yeah.
What are some maybe challenges or just things that you've seen over the years with welding and just that whole industry? What have you seen over the years?
Uh, the challenges, I can't really say there's that I've seen a lot of challenges, but I've seen a lot of changes. Some of the changes are I'm just really basing this on back home at the shipyard because I recently finished up a project there. I'm noticing now it's going to a lot of young. younger generation. So when I was coming up in the ranks, it was like an older generation. Now they're looking for more younger generation to come in. But a lot of okay, take it back. The biggest challenge is drugs. The people can get the job, especially the younger generation. They will get the job, but they'll fail the drug test. So that is a big challenge today in the industry of trade, because at the shipyard, there back home, they take a hair follicle test versus a urine test, and a lot of times the younger generation can't pass that hair follicle test. So that's one of the biggest challenges that I've seen. But a lot of changes I've seen in the industry. Second chances. That's another thing. A lot of companies is going to giving people, hiring people on for the second chances. People coming out of prison. Some of the jobs that back in the day that you couldn't get, they wouldn't hire felonies, or even if you had just went to jail for overnight, you couldn't get those jobs. But now, since the since the economy is bad and they need a lot of help, there's a lot of shortage in trades, so they are really looking, giving opportunities now for second chance offenders. And what stopped a lot of people from doing that because they're thinking that they can't get the job won't hire them. But I tell anybody, just apply. They can only say no, but you'd be surprised on a lot of these jobs now. These big industries is hiring people who's coming out of prison.
Yeah, you actually touched on my other question, which was, what would you say to people who may be thinking about going into trade right now? Like you said, we're in a time of uncertain times, and they may not have the experience or the knowledge of welding or, mechanics or engineering or, building, dealing with concrete and those kinds of things. But what would you say to encourage people, especially young people who may be thinking of a second option because they may not want to go to college. They may not want to go through a 4-year program. They want to jump into something that they can really be proactive with. What would you say to all of that?
First, I say, put down the game system, get out there and do your research. Um, well, being honest,
Yeah,
um,
that's
do
true.
your research. Find out what is your passion. What do you like? You like using your hands. Some people like working on computers. Maybe I mean, that's electricians. Or me, fortunate, like I said, I started didn't know what welding was, and look at today, 30 plus years experience. Um, but I say, put the game system down, get out there. You have union, you have non-union, you have a lot of union jobs that train you. You go in as an apprentice, and you get paid while you learn. I mean, on the job training. I mean, sometimes you have to go to school after that or during the course of the day. That's part of being an apprenticeship, and then you just work your way up. But one thing about I tell you in trade, learn everything you can learn when it comes to your trade. I mean, don't short yourself. Put your extra time in. Some people don't like staying working over or doing different things in the trade. I'm gonna tell you, you're more valuable as a person to your trade when you know a lot about your trade. So that's what I suggest people to do. Like I said, you have union, you have non-union, you have companies who's going to train you on. I mean, so it's a lot of things. You just have to research and get out there and put yourself out there, and don't be afraid of getting the word no. I mean, a lot of times people get, well, they said no. Okay, maybe that's just one company. There's 1,000 other companies out there, so you have to just keep going. Don't just let that one no stop you from what you want to do. And another thing I look at a trade, you're gonna have a high, I have no college. I'm sorry, I have college experience, but I have no bill from college. I just went to the shipyard to hire me on as a welder. I don't pay anybody no monthly fee on no for some schooling. So that's a great thing.
Yeah, actually, you touched on something else. Would you like to talk a little bit about just the pay? I know you've had a lot of experience. As you grow, you get more experience. I'm sure the pay gets even better. Would you like to talk a little bit about that? Because I know a lot of people, they're like, well, how much is it? Some people, they aren't really into just working. They want to know the pay. Can you be a little real about, what that's like and what you know about that?
I'm gonna be real about this. When I first started, I was making $12 an hour. $12 an hour. Um, yeah, about $12 an hour. And I just finished a project in Virginia that I was making like 60, about $67 an hour. I was putting in a lot of times. I was making some weeks $5,000 a week, and this is some people say that's unheard of, but I'm telling you the truth. A lot of years ago, people used to think that you had to work overseas to make this kind of money. It's not like that now. I mean, the trade, not just welding, electricians, pipe fitters, pipe welders. I mean, sheet metals. I mean, they are paying a lot of money for it if you're traveling, if you're willing to go and travel to make the money. Locally, sometimes local jobs don't pay as much, but if you're traveling well and get with a great company, you can make a lot of money. I mean, a lot, tons of money, over, way over 150 to $200,000 a year easily, very easy. So it's just about the experience, though. You can't. I'm not saying that you're gonna finish well in school today and you're gonna be making that kind of money. That's not gonna happen. It's gonna take some time. You build your experience up, and get out there and learn a different things in your trade and become more valuable. You can ask for more money, and that's just how it goes.
For sure. Just like with anything, you need to get a little bit of experience to get that boost. You got to start somewhere. Let's go back to the projects you worked on. Can you just talk about how it felt to be a part of doing the bridge and working in Arlington and being a part of that project? Like, how did it make you feel seeing it done and complete?
You know, when I drive downtown now, I look at this. I mean, it's exciting to see. I mean, sometimes I see it on when they're doing some kind of story downtown, and I may be somewhere, and I may tell people, "Hey, you see that story today? You see that bridge? I built that." Or I meet different people. I'm like, "Hey, one of my projects here in Dallas. You see a lot. You go downtown Dallas, you see, hey, I built that." So it's great. I mean, it's great. Always great to see your work. It's always great to see your work. I mean, like I said, I worked back home for the Navy, so I worked on nuclear submarines and aircraft carriers. So I worked on for GE building locomotives. I mean, so I kind of see my work around all the time. I can just be driving somewhere and here come a locomotive down the train track. I'm like, hey, I used to build those. Or you look at something going on news with the Navy. You may see a submarine. I'm like, hey, I built those. I've been in those. I know. So it's always great to see you work. I mean, I go past a power plant, or I could be different states. I worked a bunch of states, from Nebraska down to Florida, up to Maine. So I worked all between those states. So it's a great feeling when you see your work, and so it's a great feeling.
Very, very rewarding, I would say, for you to sum that up. Lastly, can you talk about your business, your local business that you have and what you've built with that?
Yes. So I was looking for an exit. I'm getting older now. As a welder, requires you to have great hand coordination and great eyes. Well, my eyes getting a little weaker, and I'm starting to shake a little bit now. So I'm looking. So I had to find me an out. No, I just want to retire kind of early. Before I just want to enjoy life. I just want to retire kind of early. I got tired of the 9 to 5, or 6 to 6 and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to branch out for myself. So I started buying different laser machines and CNC machines for myself. And I turned it into a business. I've been doing this for like 5 years. So what I do, um, I, um, I do plasma cutting. So I do metal signs. And I'm just getting into laser. So I have a CO2 laser, which that does a lot of wood. I do a lot of wood projects on that. And then I have two fiber lasers. One of my fiber lasers, I do guns on it. I do glass. glass work. I do all different kind of material on this fiber laser. So do a lot of engraving for people. So now recently, I got me a spot at Grow DeSoto here in DeSoto, Texas, and I'm going to see how this take off. And I'm trying to grow my business. So that's what I do for for the rest of my life now.
That's so cool.
That's
And
what I'm going to be doing.
yeah, and you've shown us some videos of how you use the laser and the engraving and things like that. What's been the reaction so far to that? Just seeing how you can change and build something so quickly.
Oh, I mean, people enjoy it. So I do a lot of live video. I'm glad you brought that point up. You can find me on Lipscomb Mega Science on Facebook, and I do a lot of live videos. I do that because it's a lot of people like to see how what's the process of what I do, and it doesn't take long, especially if I'm doing something on my laser. But I mean, just the other day I laser an apple, just an apple, and I put that on Facebook, and I mean, it has a lot of views, and people's like, just like, oh wow, with that. So, but I just enjoy what I do now. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna be a welder by heart for the rest of my life. But I really just enjoy doing my own thing now. So I mean, look at me, Lip CNC Meta Science. I'm here in Grow DeSoto, or you can find me on Facebook.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else you would like to say or mention that I've left out?
No, not really. I just appreciate you, having me on your show, and I just wish everybody the best of luck. I mean, like I said, if you have a passion with something, if you realize, you get to the point college is not for you and it's not for everybody. It definitely wasn't for me. Go to trade school. Take up a good trade. Like I said, not just welding. You got pipe welding. You got pipe fitters. You got sheet metals. You got plumbing. You have. I mean, it's just a tons. It's just what is your passion that you want to do, and the money is definitely there. You just got to take it serious, especially the younger folks, and put the weed down. Put the weed down. That's one of the biggest thing today of
Yeah,
the younger generation can't find a good job because they want to smoke that weed. It's not. I'm telling you, if you put the weed down, go clean, you can get you a good job and you can take care of your family like you want to, and you won't have to be in the streets. So
for
I'm
sure.
telling you that that's from the OG.
Yeah, you got to be focused. And last thing to that point is with trade schooling, it's usually a shorter amount of time. You can get your certificates and finish a lot faster than most college programs. You could finish in a year, 2 years, 3 years versus trying to, go through other programs. So, if you really focus and take the time to really see what it's about, you could be done and working and start your career sooner than you think.
So yes, and with going to school and having that background, of just going to school, a lot of times, it's a big advantage when you go on the job. You have those certificates and stuff like that. Because like I said now, what I see now, they're hiring a lot of youngsters as supervisors and managers and stuff like that now. Like I say, it's totally different than how when I was coming up in the ranks. So I mean, take advantage of the opportunities out there. It's just people just don't take advantage of it. It's just one, they're probably afraid or seeing what's out there. I mean, that's the only way you're gonna know what's out there is to get out there. So
Just got to take that chance.
you have to take that chance.
Well, thank you so much, Mark, for being here. And as we come to a close, I just want to do a quote. I love doing quotes to give people that encouragement. Just know that if you're watching this, just let us be your sign to be like, maybe I need a change. Maybe I need to go a different direction, look into something, or maybe pass this along to somebody else. And so today's quote is success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And that is by Winston Churchill. And so I want to wish everybody the best and thank you so much for tuning in. And I will see you all in the next episode.
All right, thank you, Maya. See y'all later.